Hey guys, welcome to the E-commerce Paradise podcast. Today I have a special guest on the show. His name is Bradley Long. He is the founder of the Shoptimized theme. So happy to have him on board. How's it going, Bradley?
Hey Trevor, great to see you. Yeah, I'm all good, thanks.
Cool, man. You were telling me you're in Costa Rica right now.
Yeah, we've been here about 5 weeks. We're here on a 3-month trial to see whether we want to make it a permanent thing, but we're absolutely loving it so far.
Cool, good to hear. Awesome. Yeah, we're exactly almost on the opposite side of the earth from each other. I'm here in Bangkok, Thailand right now. So
yeah,
it's nighttime here, it's daytime there. Cool, man. Well, I'm really excited to get into the conversation today. I have a lot to learn from you. You've been doing the Shoptimized theme for a long time, and I just kind of want to get a background in your story first, sort of like when you became an entrepreneur and how you got started with online entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so I became an entrepreneur back in 2000 when my father died. I took over his carpentry contracting firm. And then in 2005, I got the opportunity to start a dropshipping store selling garage doors. And we kind of saw it as a new revenue source for the carpentry business because we had this huge labor force of like 50 guys. And there was an opportunity that came up, so we jumped on it. We saw that the market was really underserved from a website point of view. I knew absolutely nothing about building websites or even working in the retail environment. And we just kind of just dived into it and very quickly became the #1 online retailer within the UK. And I did that for another 5 years. And then unfortunately, working with family didn't work out, so I had to walk away from that and pretty much start again. And then I got into consulting off the back of that. And then I started working for an agency called Conversion Rate Experts, who are the world's #1 conversion consultancy. They have phenomenal clients like Facebook, Amazon, Sony, Apple, Dyson, all the big brand names go to them as their kind of they're the ones that get the best results, right? So I spent almost 2.5 years with them and worked on some incredible clients, people I'd never get access to off my own back. So that was an awesome experience. And their Conversion Rate Experts methodology is kind of the foundation of what everyone knows as conversion rate optimization today. And their methodology has kind of been adopted by pretty much everyone now because it just works. It's very much about understanding the customer psychology and what their buying objections are, or if there's any usability issues with your site that are literally like roadblocks for people in order to be able to complete their purchase. They have a methodology which I've adopted and adapted to e-commerce specifically. Basically it helps grow businesses hugely. So that's how I got into the conversion stuff. And then obviously off the back of that, I built some more stores on my own. And then what I realized was that, I was carrying on doing the consulting and getting some great clients of my own. But what I realized was that you have to be already successful to be able to afford a conversion rate consultant. And I'm thinking, well, this isn't really fair because these guys, when you help them, it really generally only benefits their shareholders. It doesn't help guys like you and I now that are kind of in the trenches running our own small stores, comparatively small stores compared to these behemoths that are doing hundreds and millions and billions a year. We're the ones that really need the help. So that's when I created the Shoptimized course, which was pretty much the first conversion course for the Shopify arena. And then with that, we created the Shoptimized theme. Now that's actually become kind of our flagship product because it's been so successful, and I've been able to work in all the knowledge I've gained from running hundreds and hundreds of split tests on tons of different client sites. I've been able to work in all that experience and those split test results into the theme. So basically it's a huge shortcut for people. They don't have to hire a massive conversion rate consultancy for like tens of thousands of dollars a month. And they don't have to go through the painful learning curve of running dozens or hundreds of split tests to find out what works and what doesn't. You can basically plug the theme in and be, straight out the gates converting better than one of the free or another theme that's available on Shopify. So that's been the journey, and we've learned a ton along the way, and yeah, it's been really, really exciting. So that's how I'm in Costa Rica, because I fell in love with the just being a digital nomad, so to speak, and just being able to work from anywhere. And that's the beauty of e-commerce, right? Is that you can do that. You can be absolutely anywhere in the world and still be running a business in the US or wherever your home country is, and be making money every day. And it's just fantastic. So yeah, that's the journey, man.
and the internet made it all possible. Thank God for the internet and Google,
yeah.
and Facebook and all that stuff. It's a really great journey. I think it's wonderful how you went from drop shipping. Well, you took over your parents' business and you went into drop shipping, and then you realized, like, let me get into consulting and help these big businesses, and then you built actually software, well, a theme specifically to help small businesses, which is really, really neat. So how did you go about getting the theme built? Was it like a really long, arduous process, or were you able to find some kind of a developer in like Eastern Europe somewhere that would do it for you for cheap? And what was it like for you?
Yeah, so well, originally it starts out when, like I said earlier, we built this course for Shopify called the 7-Figure Store Blueprint. And originally the theme was just a bonus that we gave away with the theme when we sold, with the course when we sold it. And we actually bought the theme kind of 80% complete from another developer that realized that it was actually a load of work. And he's like, look, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on this. Do you guys want it? And we were like, yeah, great. Because we just, at the time, it's like, we're just going to give it away as a bonus. So he's, shortcut a lot of the work for us. And I worked with his development team for a while just to get it to a state where I was happy with it. But very quickly realized that we needed to rebuild it from the ground up to get it exactly how I needed it to be. So then that was like the second iteration, if you like, which is where we kind of launched it alone. And at the time, I had a developer in India who was working on that exclusively. And then since then, we've grown to like 4 guys with a lead developer and 3 guys under him. And we've just recently rebuilt it from the ground up again, because Shopify changed the framework a while back, and we wanted to update it to that. And there was a ton of new features that we wanted to do. And the thing is with these things, code gets messy if you just keep bolting things on. So we just wanted a clean slate. And we recently released version 5.0, which has been really well received so far, which is great. So
yeah, I was going to talk about that actually. The new theme actually looks quite a bit different. I mean, it still looks the same, but it looks different and better, and it's nice, and it has some added features to it that I really like. That I had even talked to one of your guys over there about, and he said he put it into the thing for the next version, and I see it there now. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
As a collection page sidebar where you can sort the products and stuff like that. So yeah, very excited about using that for the next version of my course, my masterclass.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great. So the version, I think it's version 5. The version before that was version 4.14, right? So that's the one everybody, I think, it's mostly using now, and it's really good. Can you talk a little bit more about like the theme specifically and how it's better than all the other themes out there, and what it can do to help you raise your conversion rate?
Yeah, sure. So as I was saying earlier, like, basically all my conversion knowledge and experience from seeing what works and what doesn't with split tests has kind of been distilled down into the theme. And so we've got, I think, about 30 conversion boosting features that the theme offers. Now, that's not to say that you need to switch every single one on, because if you do, your store is going to look like a fairground ride and have like stuff flashing everywhere. So it's very much a case of seeing what works for your market, because if you're selling like low ticket AliExpress stuff versus high ticket stuff, some of the stuff that works with AliExpress type customers that are very impulsive and, it's very much like, offer a really cheap deal and, get people to buy impulsively. Things like the countdown timers and stuff work particularly well for those types of stores. But if you're selling more sophisticated high ticket stuff, then they could possibly be perceived as gimmicky. Okay. So you have to test it for your own market and to see what works. Now, That's not to say that in the high ticket market, some of those things like countdown timers don't work, because they do. It just all depends on your store, your products, and your audience. So as with anything, you should always test it. Never, ever take someone's blanket advice about, right, okay, change your button color from green to orange and it's going to double your conversions. That just isn't true. You have to test for yourself, okay? So yeah, we've got 30 plus features in there. Things like urgency inducing countdown timers, scarcity with stock countdown, like sticky add to cart buttons so that people have got it in view all the time. So at the point on the page where they're convinced, they don't have to scroll back up to find the add to cart button again. If you've got a long product description, then they're going to have it right there at the point where they're like, okay, I've read enough, you've overcome all my objections, I'm ready to buy. There's things like geo-IP recognition. So if you're selling internationally, then you can talk to customers in their own, promote the prices in their own local currency, which again helps with conversion. You know, that's going to save you on an app subscription and also speed up your site as well, because you know, the more apps you have, the more it's going to slow down your site. So what we've done is tried to build in as many of those features that a lot of these good apps offer. We've built them into the hard code of the theme so that it's not slowing your site down as much as if you were having lots of separate apps. And obviously it's going to save you, again, if you had used every single feature, it would save you up to $2,011 a year, I think we worked it out to be. So that's really, really useful. So yeah, so it's the conversion boosting features. It's the speed that the page loads at, because that's a huge thing in e-commerce or any website, is if you're making your visitors sit around waiting for your page to load, then it's just going to kill your conversions. So you want to make sure your page is loading as quickly as it possibly can. Now, again, apps play a huge role in that. So if you are using apps right now, just have a look at which ones you absolutely essentially need, because a lot of people just fall in love with the idea of what an app can do, but they don't actually know whether it's bringing them a return on investment. They just think, oh, that's really cool to have, I don't know, this sticky add to cart button, for example, but does it actually work? Well, yeah, it probably does, but you need to know that for sure in hard numbers, because a lot of people have apps on their store, pop-ups, you know, exit pop-ups, Wheelio, stuff like that, but they don't actually know the hard numbers of whether it works. And that's so, so important in e-commerce, because every little change you make to your website will affect what you put in your back pocket, okay? And that's the great thing, we can measure all of this. So yeah, the three things we really focus on is the conversion boosting features, which, like I said, you need to test, the page load speed, and the savings on the app. So the three main things that people buy the theme for, and that's why we're the number one unofficial Shopify theme, because we're not in the Shopify store. We've basically realized that because we make people all these savings on the apps, it's actually, you know, Shopify don't want that, because they want those monthly revenue coming in. So they won't let us in. We've tried, but yeah, we're like, but we can save people all this money. They're like, no.
We'd rather have them spending that money.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's great, man. Great knowledge. So not only is using the Shoptimized theme going to help you raise your conversion rate because of just the way the theme code is built out. And I noticed this, you go into the actual code in the back end of the theme, and it's not designed the way that most themes are designed. It's actually designed in a new way where you have sections instead of just particular templates. So, and then you have assets into that. So you have a new structure that loads a lot faster, and it's a lot cleaner, and it looks better, and it just converts better. And then only using apps is you know, that you need is a great tip too. I know there's so many apps out there, and every single app that you actually have installed loads maybe some JavaScript on your store or something, and every little piece of code can raise the amount of time it takes for your page to load, and every, you know, millisecond or whatever, every second it takes your page to load is going to lower your conversion rate. Amazon did a ton of work to, you know, speed up their website so that they raise conversion rates. Great tips. Now, you have a lot of other different types of products as well. If you go to shoptimized.net, you'll see there's all sorts of information products like FB Ascension formula. There's also an email marketing masterclass. Can you talk a little bit about all these other things that you're doing and how you're helping people in other ways as well to raise conversion rates?
Yeah, sure. So obviously there's so many elements and moving parts to e-commerce, and having been in the business since 2005, I've learned a ton along the way, and I just wanted to kind of get out there everything that I understand to have worked and have proven to have worked in e-commerce. So, with the Facebook stuff, man, I wasted so much money getting it wrong. Like ran up like 60 grand worth of credit card debt. Just a mess. So, my wife is not happy. But once you figure it out, it works like gangbusters. I put together the FBF Ascension formula just to give people that kind of grounding in understanding how Facebook works and how you need to work their system to your advantage. We have that. We also have the email marketing, which again, I think is one of those things that is massively underplayed in e-commerce, and how important that is, because you make all your money on the back end. It's not just about making that initial sale, and quite often you might break even or even make a small loss on your very first sale. So that means that everything you do after that first sale is hugely important. So whether it's your immediate upsells, if you've got like something like Funnel Builder plugged in so that you can do a post-checkout upsell or cross-sell, whether you're following up on email and retargeting, all that other stuff, it's hugely important. So I put together the email marketing masterclass and the templates I provide with that, because I just found that it's one of those jobs that most e-commerce store owners just think, I'll do that one day. I know it's important, but it's a lot of effort to put everything in place. And something else I've got to get my head around, and I'm just figuring out traffic, and I'm just figuring out conversions. It gets pushed to the back of the pile. And actually, it's one of the first things you should do, because as soon as you start driving traffic, you've got to maximize the value of that traffic to your website. Because if you're paying over the odds for your clicks and your cost per conversion, or in other words, your cost to acquire a new customer, then if you're not maximizing that, then you're actually very weak in your ability to outgun competition. So it's a pretty fiercely competitive market out there. So you need to make sure that you're able to outspend your competition, because if you can buy more of the market, buy more traffic than they can. And particularly if you've got funnels in place and back-end email marketing funnels, they probably won't even have a clue how you're doing all this stuff, because they're just concentrating on bringing in new traffic. But you're actually coming in with like a stealth method of like, all right, well, look, we'll sell this fridge freezer to someone, but actually we're going to sell them a water filter and dishwasher or whatever on the back end, because you've built a relationship with them. And that's really where you make the money in e-commerce in 90% of the cases. So the email templates, we literally built out every single type of email you would need to transact with your customers and upsell them, cross-sell them, and run promotions to them. So, we've taken all the thinking out of it. You basically just have to plug the templates in and season it to your taste. So, put in your own kind of brand feel to it, in terms of you might want to tweak the wording a little bit, or literally just plug in your logo and plug it into MailChimp, and away you go. And we've also created templates for promotions around every major holiday throughout the year, so that you can plan your marketing calendar. Because what a lot of e-commerce store owners do, they're like, oh my God, it's Valentine's next week, I haven't done anything. And then they just blast out an email to their list. It's not really well thought through. They haven't leveraged urgency or scarcity. They've just gone, right, 20% off. And basically people switch off to those type of emails. So you need to have done the steps along the way, which is things like brand indoctrination, as to get them into becoming loyal customers. And then when you run a promotion, it needs to be event-based and have things like a 3-day build-up saying like, Valentine's is coming, get 20% off. And then you have a countdown saying, right, promotion's ending, so that there's an element of urgency and scarcity to it, because that's one of the biggest leverage points you can do in terms of persuading people to take action and buy. So we've done everything. So you can actually get that PDF with all those templates for free. I'll ping you the link later, Trevor, so that people can get hold of that, because it's an awesome resource. And I spent a couple of months putting it all together. And I just think it's an absolute no-brainer. Like, you get it for free and you just plug it in and it's going to make you more money. So
yeah, I was blown away when I read it. It's really long and really in depth and filled out, guys. You can definitely get it for free. I'm going to link it below in the description. If you're listening on the podcast, go check it out on YouTube, this video, and go check out the link in the description. You go check out that email marketing guide. It's really, really good. Wow, Bradley, you did just provide so much value. It's insane. I can't even begin to thank you enough. You guys, if you're listening to this in your car, definitely watch the video later and take notes. Everything that Bradley talked about here is just amazing. So much good stuff. I mean, everything matters. The whole launch sequence in the email formulas and stuff like that, and then doing all the conversion optimization stuff on your site. If you really want to start a real profitable high-ticket e-commerce business, even if you're doing AliExpress, dropshipping, whatever, you have to have an optimized theme. You have to have email funnels built out. You have to have your Facebook ads set up. You got to have all this stuff in place, all the puzzle pieces in place in order to make it all work. And once you get it all together, it just works like magic. It's really cool. And then like Bradley did over a long time, you can do split testing and you can figure out what works better for your market, and you can do more market research and grow from there. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Bradley. You shared so much awesome value. My audience just really does appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, Trevor.
And you guys, again, link in the description. Go check out the Shoptimized theme, all those free resources, and we'll talk to you again next time, Bradley.
All right, take care.
Take care.